Yeah, I think the key is looking at everything PropStream has to offer and really giving us a starting point because every time I talk to you, I'm like, dude, there's like, where do I start? There's just so much. So breaking it down and saying, hey, maybe these are the top three places we're going to start for 2026 because we looked back at 2025 and saw these did really well. Let's start. Where do we go with that? Everyone, this is Burton. PropStream. You've seen him many times. PropStream's become one of our secret weapons because it's just so versatile and we can really decide what type of data we want based on how we use it. And that's the hard part, but that's still the beauty. So, Burton, where do we
I
start
love that.
if we're
I'm,
looking at
I'm
go ahead.
no, I'm just saying I'm honored that we're your secret weapon, but at the same time, and in our mission to help more people, especially homeowners out there that really need the help, you guys are our secret weapon, right? And viewers, that goes to you as well. Anybody using PropStream to find new leads to help homeowners, you're our secret weapon to helping more people out there. So thank you guys. Just want to just throw that back at you.
Nice. I like it. Secret weapons all throughout.
There you
All right.
go. But yeah, based on what you
2025.
said, mhm.
What
Well,
tools? Where do we start?
I will say, starting at the beginning of the year, or like just kind of recapping, walk into 2025. What was the atmosphere? The MLSs were struggling. Let's not
Mhm.
deny it, right? Inventory was a topic, and it was a topic that carried over from the end of 2024, or kind of most of 2024. There was
Yeah.
a lack of inventory across the board. So where I'd like to start off, Tristan, is PropStream's lead generation. That's one of the things we're truly known for is data manipulation and how that data manipulation can lead to your next listing, right? Or if you're the investor, your next asset that you can purchase. So let me share my screen really quick and we'll go over the features here to do lead generation. So this is PropStream when you first log in. Don't worry, I know it looks very complicated. There's lots of resources, and we have some holiday sales if you're watching this over the
Burton,
holiday.
your
Yep.
your voice keeps coming in and out a little bit.
Oh, how about now? It's probably because I'm not talking directly into the mic. Can you hear it now?
There you go. A little that's a little better. I like it.
Yeah, let me just make sure I have my settings on right here. And perfect.
And then as you're
Oh, you
doing
know
that, I
what?
see Howard, what's up, Howard? Natalia, how are you? Carol, nice to see you. Thanks for jumping on this. And if you have any
Hopefully
questions, go
this
ahead.
is better. All right. And so, okay, lead generation with PropStream is one of the really most important things I would like to talk about first because of the fact that, again, lack of inventory or maybe, you just need a new listing now. So, how it works with PropStream when you first log in, we have a search bar. Just go ahead and type in your market. Tristan, do you want to give me a market that we can search or do you want me to just randomly pull one up?
Let's pull. Hold on. I'm thinking. Let's pull Long Beach, California.
Long Beach, California. So, there we go. So anytime you pull up a county, a city in this case, or a zip code, if you want to draw an area, you can. We have that draw search feature. The first thing we're going to do is just give you all the data that we've collected in that search criteria that you've applied. So what it's saying here is, hey, you search Long Beach. We have 100,000 records that you can source through, and here's just a few options right off the bat. What I highly recommend is go straight into our search filter. But before you do that, you can actually tell us whether you're looking for something that's already listed, or again, if the idea is I'm trying to find an off-market property so I could be the agent to list it on the MLS, then I'd select off market first and then head into the filters right after. So search your market, apply on or off, your choice, or maybe both. Then go into our filter. And then this is the format. Categories are on the left. Anytime you click on a category, the filters will immediately populate on the right hand side. We start you with our lead list section. There's 20 categories here. So you don't have to go to the county anymore. You can just go to PropStream and say, I'm looking for all the senior owners in my market. These are 25 years plus of ownership, a senior citizen tax status, or a reverse mortgage. Or maybe you're looking for a tired landlord, a delinquency. We have, again, 20 options. Maybe you're looking for a buyer because you have a listing and you're just trying to find the perfect buyer for that listing. We have cash
Burton,
buyers, we have flippers.
Burton,
Go ahead, Tristan.
Natalia is asking, what's up, Natalia? Do you cover Quebec, Canada, or any part of Canada?
No, great question. While a Canadian user can use PropStream to search US properties, our data does not go beyond the United States. That's a great
Perfect.
question.
That is a great
Great,
question.
great question. Yeah. So first, pull up your market, decide on or off. I decided off. Now I'm in the filter and let's build a list. So in Long Beach, I'm looking for, let's say, a tired landlord. These are non-owner occupied properties with 15 years of ownership or more. So let's just kind of think about what they've gone through over 15 years, right? Bad tenants, good tenants, repairs, all of that stuff. So if you want to keep doing this, great. If not, that's where our conversation comes into play, right? So Long Beach, tired landlords, I don't deal with just any property. So I'm going to go into property details and I'm going to tell PropStream I want either, vacant land or a commercial building, or in this case, just residential for today. So we'll do residential. Feel free to choose single family, multifamily, like apartments, duplexes. We have lots of options for you. And if you really want to get granular, there's additional filters. So this is how easy it is to build a list using PropStream. You pull up your market, you decide on or off, go to our additional filters. Feel free to choose a category. There's over 165 filters. So you can add additional filters on top of those categories. And don't forget, this also leads into some really crazy filters, like even mortgage filters. So maybe you're looking for a property with a certain mortgage, or maybe you specialize in military families. So you're looking for a property that also has a VA loan attached to it, right? So Long
That's
Beach, tired landlords with a VA loan, single family, they're your 34 leads in that market. And that I wanted to start off with, Tristan, because to this very day, I'm going to always be on the side of you need to know how to generate your own leads. You need
Yep.
to adapt outbound marketing, which means building off market lists like I just did today, and reaching out to them while also building that credibility, word of mouth, because you're going to also get inbound traffic, right? But you got to do both, in my opinion.
Yeah, I love what you're doing because you're really empowering us as the real estate agent when we have multiple things happening in our industry. And that's number one, you're watching some brokerages now decide that they're going to have a bigger fence around their listings, right? Private listings
Mm.
before they go into the MLS. And then you're
Chase
also
heard about that.
watching, yeah, you're also watching Zillow and Rocket and other companies want to take a bigger piece of our commission. Now that they realize that we are important to the transaction, they're like, oh, damn it, we need the real estate agent. Okay, well, let's take a bigger piece of
Let's
their
go.
commission. You're giving us a lot of data that would really normally just sit on the laps of these billion-dollar companies. And so I think you even out the playing field when we look at it that way. We just need to know what to do with it. That's why I love sitting with you, right?
Thank you, man. And that's the cool part is, this I would say is just but a fraction of what PropStream can do. If you're really a go-getter agent and you're just trying to be the best of the best, which I'm here for you. Like, can you reach out? I'm always here to support those individuals that are just go-getters. Why? Because I know you're going to use what I'm going to show you to go help more people. That's really the cool thing about real estate, just helping people, right? So if I could help you help more people, let's go for it. But what's also cool is not only can I build a list in PropStream, just like I did, 34 tired landlords, single family properties that are off market, not yet again listed. That's your goal there. But you can save this list, Tristan. You can either export it if all you need are just these 34 addresses, but we have additional tools here. You can skip trace these properties, which means I can get you a cell phone or a landline or an email to these homeowners if you need it through PropStream. And depending on your package, Tristan, it's either 12 cents an address, which in this case is just a few bucks, or if you have our pro plan, it's free. You get up to 50,000 skip tracing with that plan. Do the math, right? It's like $6,000 in savings just on that one plan alone. But then we also have our campaign section. So we're not even joking here. Like you can literally build an off market list, Tristan, gather their contact information. So if you're, again, that go getter, I'm going to go call you right now, right? And we'll actually, I know you're probably hesitant when I say that, everybody that's listening, don't worry. We'll even show you who's on the do not call list and litigators list. So if you just want to double check and go through your results and say, okay, maybe I shouldn't call this person or that person. Yeah, we give you that information. So you can build your off market list, remove all the DNC and litigator phone numbers, and then call the rest. Or our campaign section. Our campaign section can set you up with the website and we'll send out the postcards on your behalf or emails on your behalf. Or in July of this year, for those that haven't followed along our story, we acquired Batch Dialer. We actually have a dialer that you can now use. So we again understand the need of you getting to that homeowner to solve their problem, and we've just trying to implement the software and features into the software to help shorten that time frame.
I like it. All right, Carol's got a question. Can we target absentee abandoned landowners? Because it's a great question. We have to find off-market property, right? Another good source.
Absolutely. I love this search, by the way. The answer is yes. It's one of our categories. It's vacant land. Now, Long Beach, it's a very dense city environment. Probably not going to find a lot of vacant land, but there are. So if I wanted to go in Long Beach and find vacant land, I just click on that category. But you mentioned absentee owners. So you can head over to our owner information section where you can find that filter. So first select that category, in this case, vacant land, which is what you
Mhm.
asked for. Then go to owner information and owner occupied. No, I'm not looking for the owner occupied vacant land. And if you wanted to take it even up a level or more, we can even select the location of that absentee owner. So if you're looking for, vacant land that's absentee owned, but the owner lives in the same county, you
Mhm.
can do that, right? Local, maybe out of county, or maybe someone who bought the land thinking they were going to do something and they live in a different state, but it didn't work out because you realize California taxes are so expensive. They're your 31 out of state absentee owned vacant land in Long Beach or any market or nationwide. So it doesn't have to be just Long Beach today.
Okay, so let's do this because one of the things that I'm noticing has been picking up as far as conversations and where we can connect more with people is people that are eventually going to decide that they have to sell because they have a two-story home. And I just heard from a friend of mine. She's a real estate agent. She's been in the business for 56 years. Okay.
Oh,
That's how long she's been a real estate agent. I was like, holy cow. And she's like, I don't want to move from my house. I want to keep my house if I can, but I do want a single story, right?
mm,
So you're watching a lot of what's being called, the boomers, but the silver tsunami. What's happening is that a lot of people aren't actually moving. They just want to find something where they can live comfortably, and that means a single story. So let's do a couple of things. Help me with this because I think it's a big search for me. Targeting on Facebook because that's how I'll use the list. Number two, mailing, and maybe I'll call them as well. Here's what I need. Take us through this because you and I
let's
love to do
go.
on the spot stuff. Okay, so
Let's go.
here we go. Two store. Let's go. Let's keep Long Beach. Okay, Long Beach.
Okay, Long Beach. Let me just clear this all. So let's do Long Beach again. I'm assuming off market, right? Because we're gonna
Off
reach out to
market.
them. And so let's do
Long
that. Okay.
Beach has to have equity,
Oh, okay. Equity.
right?
Let's do high equity. That's a category. So high equity. That what that means, by the way, for those who are listening in, 50% or more, or over $100,000 in equity or more. So both of those together, we have 78,000 results right off the bat.
Okay, and then
What
two
else?
has to be two stories.
Okay. Now, I assume single family 2 stories, not
Single
duplex 2
family
stories.
single
So,
family, yeah, let's go for single
uh,
family first.
So let's do residential. And the reason I ask is because if you don't choose, we're gonna literally it's like drinking out of a fire hydrant, right? We got to
Yeah,
make
I've
sure we
seen it.
control this.
I
Otherwise,
don't
if
want
you
all that.
don't, we think you like know everything. So hey, kudos to you. But in this case, yeah, we really want to be specific, especially if we're not going after multifamily. And then you mentioned 2 stories. So here's how it works. I choose the class, residential, the type, single family, and then scroll just a little below. And numbers of stories is a feature
Okay.
there. So we're going to go ahead and hit 2 there. What that does is it goes through all of our data and only finds 2-story
Now,
buildings.
can I also choose age, or is that not something we can choose
Not
here?
age, but years of ownership. So it's just kind of
Ooh.
reverse engineering, right? Like, unfortunately, and I don't mean to say it in a bad way, but
No,
like
no,
in
that
today's in
Facebook does.
today's world, the
Yeah.
average first time homeowner is in their mid 30s, which is a reality that's
Yeah.
unfortunately
All
true
right,
now.
so let's do, what do we think? 15 years.
I love that. So if we were to do the math, let's say if they're 35 years old, 15 years would be what 50 years old, right? So that's a
Oh.
great starting point there. So how many years of ownership? 15 years. But again, data tells a story. And whoever asked the question right before we are doing this, perfect example, right? While we think we're done, we're not done, right? Because who are we looking for? We're looking for the individuals that are actually living in that house. So I want to add one more filter, and that's making sure we're going through these 1,300 addresses we have right now and
Mhm.
only finding the ones that are owner occupied, the ones that are actually experiencing the up and
Yes,
down,
the
that
owner
physical
occupied.
nature, right? So again, I know might have missed that, but that's the important part. We have the filters, and you get to be very granular and deliberate in your search. So
And
with
Burton,
that said,
your voice is still going in and out a little bit. Howard's noticing it a little bit.
I
Thanks, Howard.
apologize. It's probably because I'm turning my head to the screen, so I'll just kind of do this. But this is it. Our filter is done. So now we have to your requests here, Tristan. High equity, single
Okay.
family, 2 stories, owner occupied, with a minimum 15 years or more in ownership, and we were able to identify 1,100 properties in the city of
Dang,
Tucson.
man, that's a lot. That's a
Very much
lot
so.
more than I thought.
I will add to this. There probably is another search you can do. So this would probably be the first one. I love where your mind is at. Another suggestion I would also consider is houses that are also very large and wide. I know in my city that I grew up in,
Mm.
Downey, California, it was
Mhm.
a town built in the 1960s. So 2 stories wasn't a thing or common thing, but wide houses was. And so in that market, because I'm familiar with that market, I would also look for single story properties, so 1 story max with
Mhm.
large building sizes. So maybe, a
Mm.
minimum of like 3,500. Because yes, while walking up and down is, I mean, my knees feel it now just saying it. But I have to get from the laundry room back to the kitchen, back to my living room. You know what I mean? Even that can be tedious as well. So 2 searches here. I love the what you thought of single family properties that are 2 stories with several years of ownership, indicating a little older of a homeowner. But here as well, another one, large building, single story, same years of ownership.
I like that. Okay. Well, let's continue along this path, because the other thing that I'm thinking is, what if we want to do something where we get a little bit deeper, and I want to reduce from 11, what'd you give me? 1190?
Yeah, let's go back to that
Let's
first
go
little
back,
step.
because I like what you're doing about expanding it, but let's say we go back to the 1100.
Here we go. And single family,
Perfect. That was it.
1150. Okay.
1150. Now, let's say I don't cover that whole area, man. I don't want to. I just want to
Oh,
do a smaller area.
the 2 ways to go about that. One would be changing that search. Now, the filters are already there, so we're great, right? Don't have to redo anything. But the next lower search is you can search by zip code. So,
Let's do that.
cool thing with
Nine zero
cool
nine
thing with our
zero
zip
eight
code
zero six.
Cool thing with our zip code search, Tristan, is you can do up to 5 if you like. So while you can do 1,
Oh,
like I'm doing right now, I can just do that 1. I also can do up to 5. So how do we do that? Commas and spaces. So we can do 90806. I saw 90802 was one of the other options there. Again, you can do this up to 5 times in total. But in this case, 2 zip codes, same filter, right? Single family properties, owner occupied 2 stories,
ooh, dude.
continuous ownership.
Actually, hold on. And by the way, hi, Sarah. I see you. Thank you for jumping in. Okay, we've got 54. Now you give me a different strategy. So if I've only got 54, right? And
Mhm.
I think based on everything that's happening, these may be higher intent based on my filters and what I think is happening. Now I can decide to spend a little bit more time with these and handwrite notes or make a
Ooh.
foldable letter that goes in, and I want to mail that out on top of maybe even if I'm going to have like a local event about what we can use equity for to either help our families build an ADU, right? Because remember, you went space as well. Maybe we could do the ADU route. Maybe we can do downsizing, what it takes to sell your home.
Mhm.
Anyway, you're giving me more ideas because now I can focus in and be like, well, 54, that sounds way more manageable for something smaller.
Yeah, and if you need something even more manageable, we also have our draw search feature too, Tristan. So that draw search feature allows you to, let's say you only want to focus on this area here. With our draw search feature, you can literally create your own shaded area and search just that given area if you'd like as well.
Got it. Dang, man. I like this. All right. That's one or two, actually. We went over two. What do you think is another big opportunity based on everything that you saw happening in 2025, heading into 2026? What do you think we should be looking at and how we should be using PropStream?
I think one of the things I will say that I think people probably need to adapt more is really adapting into the data and learning how the data tells a story. For example, one of the features that we added is our demographics area. So let's say one of these homeowners, for example, Tristan reaches out to me, right? Like Hill Street here reaches out to me. I'm having a conversation with the homeowner. See, this homeowner expects me, you, to be the professional of that area. We should know the makeup of the environment. And our data can do all of that. Our data can show you the comps in the area, both on and off market, right? So your MLS is going to show you what has signed a contract, what's active, what's failed, what's sold. What's cool with PropStream is we have that, but we also have off market transactions. So we can tell the homeowner if their neighbors 2 doors down sold it in cash off market to a buyer. And not only know that, we can know who that buyer is. So if that buyer wants to buy this property off market in cash that I'm working on, I can connect the dots. So one of the things I want to emphasize is or inspire people is to start looking at data as a story. And so not only do we have comps, but one of the other things we added was our demographics area, and this was has become one of my favorite areas in our property details. Why? Because let's say that homeowner signs a contract. Well, now I can go into the demographics and I can look at what's happening within a quarter mile or up to 10 miles. But in this case, half a mile. Show me what's happening within a half a mile circle radius around this property.
Okay.
And what does that makeup look like? This is my favorite box. There are more renters in this area than there are owners in this area. So now that I have this listing, should I go find a fix and flipper to buy this listing,
Mm,
or should I
mhm.
go find a landlord buyer to look at this listing? You need to know your
Good question.
clientele on both sides of the fence. Yes, you've now helped the homeowner by solving their problem. Great. But that buyer also has a problem. And their problem is I'm looking for a rental property. And if I approach a fix and flipper with this address, they're going to be like, no, this is not a market I want to be in. Right. I buy, I fix, I flip, I walk away. This is not a fix and flip environment. Within a half mile, there's more people renting out properties. So I need to take this contract to a landlord. Guess what? That's one of our categories, right? And we just found a landlord. One of those tired landlords might reach out and say, "No, I'm not looking to sell, but if you have one in my area, I'll." So this is also why it's important to still have conversations with sellers because sellers can also be buyers too, right? So
That's
again, for me,
true.
I always look at it as connecting dots, and this is one of my favorite features in PropStreams that has come in the last year, and that's simply going into a property. Every one of these properties, heck, I can go to this property right over here because what's happening 4 blocks down the road is not what's happening down that road, right? So
That's
go to this
true.
property,
Good point.
and within a half-mile radius, we might see a slight shift, and we did. There's actually more owners by 2% in this area. So, hey, maybe as I keep going eastward, we're going to notice more owners than renters in certain markets. And then
All
now I
right.
know which buyers need to go where.
I like this. Two more things then.
Yes.
Can we search by interest rates? That's my first one.
Mm.
And a little bit more wide, because Carol has a great question too. I'd like to know if there are search filters that narrow identity for land uses also for purpose of attracting certain types of buyers and developers.
Okay. So let's start with the first one. The answer
Yep.
is yes. You can search interest rates. That's located in our mortgage filters. So you can search by up to how many mortgages they have, the opening remaining balance, recording date, loan types, interest rate. So this is your filter here that you're asking for. And you can even search for interest rate type. So if you're looking for just fixed rates, you can do that as well in PropStream. So that's your first question. Yes, you can search by interest rates. Just go ahead and head over to our mortgage filters. But Carol, to answer your question, no, you cannot filter for that. And the reason you cannot filter for it is because zone coding or the use codes are not the same across the board. So when you're in the land location information, for example, right? So here we are, right? Zoning, right? Land use codes, depending on where you're at, it's not uniform across the nation. So the zoning for like this single family property that's 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, right? We'll leave the filter the same here, is not the same zoning in Columbus, Ohio. So when I use the same filters, find the same similar properties, but then go into their details, just like I did in Long Beach, pardon me, and then I look at the zoning there, the zoning code is a lot different than it is in a different area. So it's hard for a company like us to create a filter when nothing is uniform, right? Like, for example, like single family, every county in the nation labels single family. Some don't, but okay. Besides the point, as long as it's mainly uniform, we can search for it. Unfortunately, because zoning is not the best, the halfway point that we can get you, Carol, is if you have the address, search the address, and then just go into property details, land location information can at least tell you what the use code is or that zoning code is. So can't search for it, but the data is there for you to look at.
I like it, man. I feel like our next session, if we haven't figured it out yet, our next session should be identifying the 3 ways that we can close the most transactions by using PropStream.
Oh, I like that challenge. Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited
Wanna
for
do
that
that?
next episode. Let's go for
All right.
it. But
Closing.
Tristan, thank you so much, man. This was fun.
I love it, man. Thank you so much, everyone. We've got let me, switch our view here. We've got the QR code there. Please scan it. You can at least test it out, have some fun using it. I know there are some of you who just joined as well because of the Black Friday deal. So please do yourself a favor. Burton does such a great job teaching. He's got a whole mess load of tutorials that you need to jump on and just listen. You can easily get lost. I know because I've already attempted to, and I get lost all the time. So it's just rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole.
That's why we're
Um,
here.
anyway, next month, let's go into how to close transactions the fastest by using PropStream. Something along those lines.
Yeah, definitely. I have some
All right.
ideas already. But thank you,
I like
Tristan.
it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Carol, thank you so much. Mary, welcome to PropStream. Sarah, Howard, Deborah, everybody else, thanks for being on. Thanks, Burton. Appreciate you, buddy.